Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lion's Den Show.
Talk about all the stupid things the media said and all the tricks that were played to convince people that he's not who he was. But today, it's 2011, and those days are over, and we are living in the midst of this guy destroying the economy, and going back and talking about a birth certificate right now is not the most effective way of stopping this guy. I would love nothing more than for this guy to be proven a fraud. I would love nothing more for him to have I would love nothing more for all of this to have been a giant trick. I would love nothing more for him to get nabbed at this. But there isn't any evidence of it yet. I would love nothing more to see what happens when it's proven, if it could be, that he's not a citizen. What happens in legislation when everything he's done is unqualified. Everything he's done is illegal. Everything he does has got to be wiped clean. Can you imagine that battle? I would love to see that. You've got me pegged wrong here. But I deal with what is. I don't deal with what ifs. If is for children. And we've got certain things that are the reality today that have to be dealt with. Pure and simple. And that's where I am on this. No more and no less. There's no magic wand that can get Obama unelected. You can hope and you can dream, but you are locked in a fantasy if that's what you're waiting for. That isn't going to happen. The focus needs to be on making sure he's not re-elected. But there is no way to unelect the guy. It isn't going to happen. Now, having said that, oh yeah, I'm like all of you. I would love for this guy to be a total fraud when it comes to the birth certificates, a fraud on practically everything else. I would love for if he's born somewhere else, I would love for conclusive proof of that. That would be fun. Just to watch the Democrats and the media go, that would be worth the price of admission and whatever they charge for it. But until such things happen, if, when, whatever, there's a reality that has to be dealt with day in and day out.
A short stint in office.
My hope is that people who say Barack Hussein Obama was elected by the United States people will gain an understanding that every vote cast for him was cast under a certain condition of credibility in being qualified under those 12 pages of the Constitution. Democrats who also uphold the Constitution should realize this and hold the civil rights within the U.S. Constitution dear to their hearts, even as Martin Luther King Jr. held those rights dear to his dream for America, and even like the American Civil Liberties Union has held those rights dear to their heart and fought countless fights for one single page of the Constitution. And ask yourself, why their heart and minds have not fought for the 12 pages of the Constitution that surround the President of the United States qualifications. And all those people who would not uphold 12 pages of the Constitution regarding the rights and privileges afforded to our President that Obama has burned. I am not burning the Constitution. Barack Hussein Obama has already burned the Constitution. And Congress, every day, they refuse to hold a hearing of qualification, of verification upon Barack Hussein Obama, are burning the Constitution. I am merely showing you what is being done and what is being burned in effigy of your inalienable rights, and asking you the question, are you going to worry about a Quran being burned more, or are you going to worry about your right to burn a Quran being taken away by the dissolution of the United States Constitution, which some of our own congressmen favor? In summation, I want to state Obama's handwritten history states his father was a British citizen, which gives him dual citizenship, something not allowed under the Constitution qualifications for president. This is a fact. But as a birther, I also want you to consider this question, and how would you feel about my answering to it? If you asked me where I was born, and I would I would tell you that it was the Idaho Falls, Idaho Latter-day Saint Hospital, and you'd gather information from that, like I was born in Idaho Falls, Idaho, which is in the United States. But what if I asked, what if you asked me, Cody, where were you born? And I replied, December 27th, 1965. And you asked me again, no, I didn't ask you what time you were born. I asked you where you were born. And again I stated, December 27th, 1965. Would you start to think that I wasn't all there mentally? I mean, there was a problem do you think that there would be a problem there mentally with my mental comprehension if every time you asked me where I was born, I told you the time that I was born? I mean, there are a lot of people out there that think I'm crazy and nuts, but they think Obama's a genius with his answers. That's why I think anyone who voted for him or McCain is crazy or nuts, because you're accepting answers that are crazy and nuts. How do you feel about the right to burn the Koran versus the Constitution burning that takes your rights away? How do you feel about Congress burning 12 pages of the Constitution regarding the qualifications, duties, and privileges of the United States? Well, that is exactly what Barack Hussein Obama thinks about you in the way he has answered you with his certification of live birth, which gives you the time but not the where. Upon asking for his credentials of birth and him not being forthcoming with a long-form birth certificate, and instead of that supplying you with a certification of live birth rather than a certificate of birth, because Hawaii does not even accept certifications of live birth over a certificate of birth, and that being because they understand themselves they have allowed so many foreigners to come in and gain a certification of live birth off of a note written by one of the relatives, or in Barack Hussein Obama's case, his grandparents, who didn't care about the Constitution and are deceased now. Rollo A. Robinson, MD, was the attendant physician of my birth, and that's the long-form birth certificate. And I know who delivered me. But what do we know? Congress is showing you straight out they don't care about the incompetent person living in the White House who is giving you his time, who is verifiably incompetent and is based upon the way in which he's answered your question of where he was born with the time and not the place. I'm Cody Robert Judy, and that's it for the Lion's Den show. Until next time, cowboy up and spur them in the guts, and worry about the 12 pages of the Constitution which Congress is burning. Because we got to put a lid on this and stop it.